Oh, thanks for the reminder.
Word up.
What up, folks?
What up?
Again. All right, IG, I'm gone.
Oh, you were on IG just now? Okay.
What up, folks? It is another week.
Yes.
Hip hop dance stories.
Yes.
With your host, Aphro.
Hola. How you doing, everybody? Everyone is beautiful out there. Happy Sunday. What is going on?
V-LUV will be in the room soon. And today we have a dynamic guest. Oh, I'm legendary. Bro Shack.
Bro Shack, that's Ledge right there.
Long shoe cutting back. 5 stars, triple bar. Yes, sir. So, yeah, Frozy, how was your week?
Oh, the week was awesome. Truly blessed, my brother.
Yeah.
Had a lot going on. Actually, video shoot this weekend.
Yeah, I heard you've been working on something for us. What you been doing?
Yes. Let's talk about this.
Here. We can let them in on it.
Yes, let them in. Yes, we are definitely getting ready to do big things. We got this dope ass intro for y'all to rock off of and feel it. Get up and dance, clap your hands, throw your hands up, all that hip hop groove, everything. We got it coming for you, boy. So this weekend I was able to go ahead and do this little video for it. And it's about to do some big things. Really, I'm so excited about it. Like, honestly.
Man, I'm just like really love how this aspect of our journey just came organically, just like our dancing, from day one.
From day one. Like, it's like a day never missed. A day never missed with you guys.
Yes. And
the only thing missing is the physical, us actually being in the same room, breaking bread. I'm looking forward to that.
Oh, I can't wait for that part.
Yes.
Yeah. But yeah, man, it's been lovely. It's like we're hip hop dance journalists now, Aphro.
I know.
That's we got notes and all kind of shit.
And we got tricks up our sleeves though. Like, we are
dope. Man.
It just doesn't stop here. It just doesn't. It won't. We just not letting that. We can't allow that. It's too much. We all have too much flavor to do that.
Yes. Got to go to the top. Oh, I like that background back there.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about.
Yes. Got a shout out. Heavy D and Trouble T Roy then. All good. We missing y'all.
Yeah.
Missing that flavor on stage.
Yes.
OG Big Man, let's light on his feet, man. That's so dope.
Yes. Hold on here. So how long did we give a shout out to our peoples? Who do we have?
Yeah, we got the one and only Papa Chicken in the house.
Papa Chicken.
Who will be on the show soon.
Good. My computer is acting up for some reason. I can't see the people who's on here. I see us, but I just can't see what's going on. Let's see. Boom. Okay. No. User error. Papa Chicken, how was your week? Peace, Mujahid.
Yeah, Mujahid 72. I like that 72.
Yes.
So what's going on, Aphro? It's so yeah, folks, keep in mind too with like certain guests, you know what I'm saying? They might be having like little football parties or situations like that. So keep, check the temperature to see if we jump from Saturday to Sunday or something, depending on the temperature of the game. You dig?
Certain guests.
Yeah, they might be having
Look at your football shirt on. Who you repping? Like, who you repping?
I'm repping them Ravens.
Hey, there you go.
Yeah, that critical beat down today, that ultramagnetic beat down the Cleveland Browns today.
That is funny.
Yeah. So yeah, folks, we're about ready here.
Yes.
My man over here, you finna look fly.
V-LUV.
See him in the now we got our guest. V-LUV still downstairs.
Uh-oh.
Yes. So right here, we got this guy. I'm really loving this guest right here, Aphro, because he brings so much variety to the hip hop game. You did.
He really does.
You know, his story is extensive. And then as you see, as we've been, the guests we've had have told these hip hop stories, his name just keeps coming up. Stuff we didn't even know about.
Boom.
Didn't know he danced with School Lover before Lazy and Scrap.
Okay, had no idea. I did not know that.
Yeah, somebody else brought his name up. Who was it? It was somebody else. And it was like Lance Romance. We was like, oh yeah, we got to get him on. Well, definitely Cliff brought him up and told some wonderful stories. So I would love for him to expound on that.
Yeah. I'll never forget that interview with Cliff. You guys were in tears for like over an hour.
We got my man Bashan in the house, the son of Badu.
Hey.
And without further ado.
Yes, without further ado.
Bring on one of the most interesting, flyest stories in hip hop, unsung though, because he does this shit under the radar. So so smooth, so slick. OG, triple OG. And if you really look at it, because if you take away Doc and Kango, Lance Romance and Cliff Love pretty much, set the tone and got us all going.
Wow.
Really look at it, because Doc Eisen was kind of popping with the straight hip hop boogie, straight hip hop dance.
Right.
Man, Lance Romance.
Wow.
Got Ski in the house. So without further ado, Cuddy Mag, what up, Lance?
What's up, Lance? What is going on?
Let me just get this popping the right way. Can y'all see me?
Yo, where you at? You real safe right now. Wherever you at, are you in the public or something? Because you got your mask on and everything, B. What's going on, Lance? Where you at?
I'm in Jersey City.
Okay, making things happen. That's what's up.
I'm making it happen here in Jersey City. Let me just make sure I get this popping so y'all can get the view of me here. It's good to see everybody. Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
We got Godfather Lou Ski back, who will be back, y'all, next week.
Lou Ski.
What up, y'all?
Lou Ski.
That's what I'm saying. That's the effect Lance has. We got the Godfather early.
That's what's up.
I'm trying to make sure that y'all guys can see me. Can you see me?
You disappear, Cuddy. You gotta square up.
I'm getting ready to square up right now. I'm getting ready to put something behind prop this up. Is it better like this?
No, you like in the corner of the screen. If you can just kind of like move
this way.
Oh, me?
Yeah, that way. Yeah, there you go.
That's what you said, bro.
Like this? Like that?
Yeah. Even one more half inch, you would be perfect.
This way?
You'd be perfectly centered. Yeah, the way you were going. Yeah. There you go.
I'm here. Hey.
There you go.
Hey, Lance.
What up, Lance?
What's up, Lance? How are you?
What's up, everybody?
What is going on?
Teamwork.
That's right. It makes the dream work.
What's up, everybody? Thank you. I'm honored. I'm humble. I'm blessed. I'm just happy to be alive and happy to see people that I know over 30 years.
Yes.
It's a blessing to see everybody on the 4 screens right now.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And I'm really honored that you guys are great with this new platform and giving us dancers a voice and to basically explain to people the history of where all of this pop culture comes from. It comes from the foundation of dance and the rest of the 5 elements of hip hop, as we all know.
That's right, Lance. Absolutely. You hit it right on the nose.
So yeah, man. So usually how we do it, my man V-LUV starts from the beginning.
Yes.
Your career is so extensive.
Yes.
And you had the foresight early to see that being a heterosexual hardcore hip hop street dancer wasn't gonna pay the bills like all the time. Yes. And we want to know How come you didn't take us with you, Lance Romance?
That's because
That's what we want to know.
I didn't get to the West Coast until after during the Raising Hell tour, right?
Yeah.
So the first person that I have to state, with all due respect to really understanding how to get my hustle on, was Uncle Jam's Army and DJ Pooh.
Wow.
Those guys, DJ Pooh, and those guys on the West Coast didn't really have the East Coast exposure, but they definitely had a hustle I've never seen in my life with the swap meets and the way of the t-shirts and the sweatshirts and the hats. Actually, for me, seeing the support of local rap on a level of the streets with t-shirts, hats, and stickers and posters came from my understanding right away. West Coast was doing it hard. So during the Raising Hell tour, I spoke to Russell and Leo. I'm like, boy, when we get to the East Coast, we got to step our game up because this branding thing is serious. And I think a lot of conversations led into Run DMC getting that endorsement deal with Adidas because I believe West Coast, to me, like when we did the Raising Hell tour and then they had the riots out there at the stadium, you know what stadium we were talking about?
Yeah.
When
Cliff told me about that.
When Run DMC said, hold up your Adidas, that Coliseum in the West Coast held up their Adidas, and there was not one person in the shoe that looked like in the stadium that looked like they didn't have an Adidas on. The power of branding for me started in the West Coast.
Wow.
Because by the time the West Coast did that, by the time we hit the Garden, the word traveled that we got to get an endorsement deal because when we was on the West, even when that fight broke out and it was the riots and all that stuff happened at the location. What was it? What was the name of that?
It was in Long Beach.
Long Beach Theater.
Long Beach Theater.
Wow.
Yeah. So that was in '86.
Right.
Yeah.
So even with that, I still saw the positivity, and then meeting Pooh and his whole team and Bobcat and Muffler and Dwayne and all those guys, and it was just on King T. Can't forget King T. Tila. So I gotta respect the West Coast for letting me see. And I know I'm jumping the gun. I'm gonna get to it, but even early on, I was born in the Bronx, so I'm gonna speed this up. So I'm gonna come back to this. I was born in the Bronx. My mother married a guy in the military. And I wound up being raised in San Antonio and Dallas. Okay. While I was in Dallas, I met a DJ named Dr. Rock. Dr. Rock had an MC on an album, and his name was the DOC.
Okay.
The DOC introduced me to Eazy-E.
Wow.
Eazy-E introduced me to Don McMillan of Macola Records.
Wow.
My second album came out on Macola Records.
Is that right?
Born to Entertain, because I had a hot record out in Dallas called Brother with Soul and Touch of Romance. My opening act was the NWA, MC Hammer, and Vanilla Ice.
Wow.
Yeah.
Eazy-E said to me, listen, if you're going to press up a record, you need to get to Don McMillan. You need to come out to the West Coast. Now, I had already made one album in '87. Then I got to Don McMillan. So I'll back up. Now, I just wanted to say, I said all of that to state, even though I'm an East Coast kid, technically, it was the West Coast that put me on. So my love for the West Coast has always been tremendous, even though I'm born in the Bronx, raised in, South Bronx to Harlem. But I had to say that really quick because I didn't want to miss the opportunity to thank you guys and to thank the West Coast for always having my back, even as an unknown dancer, an unknown MC, and just showing them respect and love. And I never really got to say thank you to everyone. So this is my first time saying thank you guys.
Wow, that's good stuff, Lance, my God. So you put that record out yourself in '87?
Yeah, so in 1980, okay, so I'm gonna back it up. I'm gonna flow through this. So in 1984, I graduated out of Dallas, Texas. Right? I got a baseball scholarship to go to a Christian Catholic school, because I graduated from a little Christian school called Evangel Temple in Grand Prairie, Texas, right outside of Arlington. So it's in Grand Prairie, Texas. Grand Prairie has grown since then. You can look it up. You know, they got close things like Dallas Cowboy Stadiums right next door in Arlington. Anyway, so I graduated high school in 84. When I graduated, I had a baseball scholarship to another Christian Catholic school, or Christian school called Oral Roberts University, right? So Oral Roberts was one of the schools back then that were branding Tammy Faye Baker and Jimmy Swaggart.
I remember that.
Back in 84. So anyway, I knew that I wasn't going to be a smart kid that wanted to study books. My grandparents lived in the Bronx, 165th and Morris Avenue.
Wow.
So right in the Bronx. I came back to the Bronx. At that time, in the Bronx, the summer of 84, my aunt, Joyce, was seeing an MC named Globe, Globe, from the Soul Sonic Force.
Wow.
So my aunt says, listen, Globe is going to take you to the, you know, what's happening in the music, right? So Globe was taking me around, introducing me to Tommy Boy Records, the industry, Sal from The Fever and Devil's Nest and etc. So we lived around the corner from not far from Webster in a club called 371. So I frequent all of New York hip hop spots early on. I was only 17, right? So I got there early in. Next door was the guy my mother married was a childhood friend of mine. His name is Michael. Michael wound up dating Khayyam, who you guys are going to interview. Khayyam, the dancer that danced with Slick Rick. Kai, right? But Michael had moved to Inglewood, New Jersey. The summer moved before, Michael moved to Inglewood. So Globe introduced me to the Soul Sonic Force and Bambaataa and all of that stuff. And Michael introduced me to Leland Robinson and Joey Robinson, Sugar Hill Records. I got my first record deal through Leland and Joey with Sylvia at Sugar Hill Records at 17.
Wow,
so
bro.
I had my first record deal because of the marriage my mother had, and Michael took me and him and Leland were best friends. They went to Dwight Morrow High School together right there in Inglewood. And Leland was, you know, friends with Eddie Murphy and all that. You know, Sugar Hill Records was popping back in 84. You know what I mean? So around the corner from me was Greg Nice. Greg Nice was rolling with Tila Rock. Tila Rock introduced me to Mantronics. When I saw Mantronics, I learned how to fundamentally make beats. I kind of watched Mantronics. You understand? Mantronics is really getting things on. From Mantronics, I learned to start booking time at Chung King Studios, where I met Run DMC, Russell Simmons, Rick Rubin, Beastie Boys, LL Cool J, and etc. by just booking time in the same studio that these guys had, because it was nothing. You just paid the studio time. My engineer was the same engineer, Steve Ett. You look on the back of a record, Steve Ett engineered all.
I know that name.
Beastie Boys, and I just happened to, you know, maneuver. So in 84, I started my album. 85, Crush Groove is announced. I wear my favorite color, which I'm wearing right now, orange. You see, I got the H on my hat representing Texas, this Houston Astros. But I wear orange. I bump into Khayyam going in the Crush Groove line with a young MC. His name was Mikey D. A lot of people don't know this MC called Mikey D. And right behind us, behind us was two females. They were friends, and they later wind up becoming Finesse and Quiz.
Wow.
On Uptown Records, right? So Russell, when we got through the line, he picked me out. And when you do your homework, you can Google everything I say. I'm basically, I see Khayyam on the check-in.
Yes.
I told Kai I could never be fly because Khayyam made me step up my game.
I see her haircut so fly in the picture. I can't wait to interview her.
The flyest girl I've ever seen in my life dancing. I was like,
that's right.
If a girl dressed like that, I got to step my game up. So she made everybody step up her game. I got to keep it real. So I became fly because I seen a female was flyer than everybody else. But anyway, make a long story short, I worked on my album. And then I went to another, where we at, 85. So I became a dancer for the Fat Boys.
Wow.
I became a dancer for this Fat Boy scenes, for a scene called Don't You Dog Me in Crush Group. You go to the Fat Boy scenes, they get kicked out of class for the pigs. So anyway,
I know exactly.
Charles Stepler, he liked that I had an orange and yellow. He was like, yo, I need you to dance with us. So I'm dancing for the Fat Boy scenes for the Fat Boys and Don't You Dog Me. And this is 85. Russell Simmons comes up to me after and say, listen, when you get a chance, holler at this girl named Heidi. Heidi used to work for Russell. Anybody know Russell Simmons always remember Heidi. This is before Simone. Make a long story short, he says, we're going to do this Raising Hell tour, blah, blah, blah. Keep in contact with me. After that, I kept in contact. I went back in the studio at a studio called Calliope, started working on my album. Teddy Riley was working there, and there was a group called Stetsasonic, Daddy-O.
Boom.
Yeah.
Daddy-O was showing me how to really make production thick, right? But I was still kind of corny and cheesy. I came from Texas. I didn't really have nothing gangster to rap about. You know, I come from this little Christian school and, you know, military school, and I was just happy to be in the mix. So now we're in 86, right? I meet through wanting to be in the loop. I always had, of course, attraction. I met the real Roxanne.
Wow.
The real Roxanne introduces me to Howie T. Howie T introduces me to Dr. Ice. Howie T introduces me to Chub Rock, Little Sean, anybody back under Howie T. And through doing, and I'm skipping a lot, but I'm getting more into the production side because I spent more time as an artist than a dancer. But in 86, I started getting on my album. Then I started to work and become part of Bobby Brown's camp.
Wow.
We started working on Bobby Brown's first album, King of Stage.
Okay, tap out on that. We're going to get to that. That's
in the King of Stage album, Larry Blackman was working on that production. I was doing backgrounds. I had a little car. I don't know if y'all remember a car called the Lancer. There's a little car called, and I got this renter car that
I remember that.
And I almost went to jail a few times because I didn't want to take it back because it had my name on it. So I was crazy enough to think it was my car. But anyway, I was really wild back then. Anyway, make a long story short, I was basically becoming known at the Rooftop as one of Brucey B and Gusto's hip hop dancers, and keeping it a buck. No one in New York City at that time, 84, 85, and 86, was flyer than me. Keeping it a buck.
Wow.
As just being fly.
You better know you said nobody else was flyer than you, Lance.
I'm going to tell you why. I went to acting school. Listen, I went to acting school. My father made me go to acting school in 84 and 85 at HB Studios, 120 Bank Street in the Village.
Okay.
So I was one of the first hip hop heads that would take fashion styles from the Village and flip it with Harlem and Bronx.
Okay.
You understand?
I feel you.
I was having to go to West 4th Street, and I was bowling in the summer, playing ball in West 4th Street, hanging out after, looking at the craziness at the time that I've never seen, where people would wear thick socks over the jeans.
Doc Martens.
Wear a double scarf and flip the scarf round, right? Wear two hats no one in Harlem and Bronx was doing that. That was too much. I brought that to the Rooftop.
Wow.
Because I understood that Brooklyn guys were really, really fly. Harlem guys were fly, but they were too fly for me because I was still a little corny. So I couldn't be like shark skin and, fur coat. That I wasn't that fly. I always tell Kayam I was Right On magazine fly.
Right On magazine fly. That's what I'm talking about, Lance.
Cynthia Horner fly.
Yo.
So anyway, becoming Rooftop dancers, knowing, the uptown style. Bobby and I, and Teddy Riley, we all knew each other. And Gusto and being in Harlem and etc. And to make a long story short, Bobby started working on his album. In comes Smooth B. I met Smooth B, and me and Smooth B wind up, and Dr. Ice wind up singing background on Bobby Brown's album title called King of Stage.
So wait, you said you sang?
I was just singing backgrounds. I'm not a singer. but it was more of a chant. King of stage.
Okay, you do the vocals.
King of stage.
All right,
Smooth
word.
B, to be 100, Smooth B was pretty much writing everything. We was just chanting whatever he wrote.
That's what's up.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Bobby and Smooth were really coming up with that.
Rewind a little bit. That's who brought Lance up. Rooftop Wiz. Talk about your relationship with
Rooftop Wiz.
Okay, so when I was still in the middle of making my first album for Sugar Hill, I needed dancers. And again, I knew that I was dancing hard and I was doing, things of, sliding on the floor and things. But then Juice and Wiz came in and they did some, you can't curse on this, but they did some stuff.
They did.
Yeah. They did some shit I've never seen with the throw the legs around the neck and the split and the slide on. Now, that was different than me just dropping it, doing what I call the Harlem, the Harlem move, that shaking move. They were getting dirty, but still looking fly. And I was like, damn, I paid a lot for these Guess jeans. I don't know if I can really slide on the floor with them.
Yeah.
right.
I'm still more worried about being fly. You know what I mean? Because this is a year, 84, right after the concept of break dancing, electric boogieing. And to be really, 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 really honest, when we were dancing, me, Juice, and Wiz, early 84, 85, there was no such thing as hip hop dancing.
Right.
They didn't even have a term for that. They threw that in because the music we was dancing to was coming from hip hop, right? But before then it was break dancers. There was no such thing as hip hop dancers. You was either a break dancer and that was it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we kind of coined that term, and I would say more Brucey B saying it. We got the hip hop dancers right here in Harlem, getting down on the floor, doing their spins and lifts. No more skating. Get off the floor. No, because it was a skating rink. Like we used to do this at the rink.
I feel like I'm there.
Then there was Lacey's. Then there was, so we were going, I was doing all of it. Now keep in mind, prior to Buddha Stretch, who's one of the best in the world, it was me, but I didn't want to keep getting dirty because I was thinking I'm an artist. I'm looking at LL Cool J, Run DMC, Whodini. I want the mic. So y'all guys can have it. You know what I mean? But when Whodini went on tour, this is what happened. Whodini went to go do the video Funky Beat in Alphabet City in New York City.
Okay.
Right? Make a long story short, me and Bobby been hanging out all this time. He's not in New Edition. I'm driving him around in my Lancer, and then I had a Cadillac. So Bobby said, "Look, let's go to the Funky Beat video." We walk in. There's Cliff Love. Cliff Love got a whole Brooklyn crew looking at me like, "Who's this nigga?" In a positive way.
Yeah,
I got the fly Jordan dunks on that nobody had. I'm always dipped. So no matter where I went, and I was just going to stay dipped. That was just going to be me. And that's how I got in. Because Russell always used to say, "I'm going to put you somewhere, and you can, if you ever bump in." Russell says, "I put Lance Romance on because he just looked like a star." That was Russell's whole quote. You just look like you belong somewhere. I'm gonna just stay around, just stick around. You're gonna do something. But he thought I was super whack as an MC. But he just thought that I was good as a person.
I
He was like, "I don't know about you on the mic, but
you better know." He said,
"Yeah, he's super whack."
Wait a minute. You said he thought you was super whack.
Super whack. So that's because at the time, I was really more like I was more. Andre Harrell met me and told Russell, God bless the dead, this is the cat that fits in prior to like a Father MC Heavy D. So Russell thought I was whack because my style was like Father MC. Do you understand? So Russell, that didn't fit his style. So to Russell, my father, if you go back to listen to my 87 album, Stop and Listen, my 1988 album, 1988 hip hop, then my 1991 album, and my 1990 album, all of that is Father MC Heavy D prior. You understand?
Wow.
Russell was not, I don't want this. So to him, he said I'm whack. So I said, okay. But what he did was give me the opportunity to keep making beats. You know what I mean? He just says, just show up, because most of these guys are not going to show up. Make a long story short, met Jalil, Ecstasy. They went on tour. One day, I called Cliff. I said, yo, we should go see the Raising Hell tour. I think they're playing in Atlanta at the Omni.
Hey, Lance, he wants you to tell that whole story, the plane and everything.
Okay, so Cliff, so I said, yo, I don't really got the money, but I got this American Express card that I got from Sugar Hill Records. It was the blue American Express card. And I said, yo, listen, I went back and forth to see my people in Texas. And Braniff Airlines, they have what's called an annual payment. Now, if you're from the hood, nobody knew that word annual. That just means they ain't going to see this for the end of the year. So he's like, what does that mean? I'm like, we're going to take a trip and we ain't going to have to pay until the end of the year. He said, but how are we going to get on a plane? I said, listen, Braniff charges you while you're in the air with the carbon copy shit, the slide shit. He was like, what? I'm like, come on, let's just go. And we were in already Manhattan. I said, let's just go to LaGuardia. Swear to not, no bags, no nut. Matter of fact, I had the same hat on. This ain't the same one. This is a new one.
Okay.
Same hat. That's why I wore this. I wore this because I've never done an interview, and I wanted to thank you guys for giving me this opportunity, because this hat got me in the game. So make a long story short.
That's right.
So we get to Atlanta. I said, listen, I don't know anybody in Atlanta, but we can't use it. This is before Uber or credit cards and cabs. I said, all we got to do when we get there is tell people we down with the Raising Hell tour. He was like, man, you're crazy. I was crazy like that because I had game. You know, my game is next level. This is before Leonardo.
Yo.
Legends. Listen, they want to hit story. I'm before Catch Me If You Can.
Before that.
Matter of fact, I'm going to see Leonardo for my money. I got that movie before you, kid. But that's another story.
Oh, shout out to Leonardo.
So shout out to Leonardo in Hollywood. But y'all gonna give me my money for Catch You If You Can, because that's me.
Boom.
Anyway, so Cliff's like, yo, how we gonna get that? I said, listen, we dance for Whodini. He was like, but we don't. I'm like, don't worry about it. We got a stewardess to take us. You know me, smoothing it out with the stewardess, drop us off at the Omni backstage. We don't know anybody. But we do remember Dice, who was the roadie for Whodini. When we get there, God bless the dead. Runny Ray with Run DMC, Hurricane. So we saw people that were familiar with us in New York. You understand? When we got to backstage. We got backstage. Jalil and X seen us, speeding it up. Russell says, oh, what y'all niggas doing here? Blah, blah, blah. Whodini goes on stage. Cliff and I just go upstage. We standing there. Jalil looked at X. Drew said, we got Lance Romance and Cliff Love here. They're going to show you how to get busy. They played the Joe Ski Love. Get busy, y'all. Without rehearsals, without a thought process, we went on stage and ripped it, and the rest was history. Now we have hip hop dancing. Do you understand?
Wow.
Because we're bringing it to the masses for the first time after Kango, after the Doc, after Jermaine Dupri. But this is different. This is 86 audience that's already been watching videos and feeling hip hop. So now we're moving into hip hop at a commercial pace, slow grinding into corporate America, right? Before Fred Flintstone started spinning with Fruity Pebbles with Bedrock and all that kind of stuff. After that, Jalil said, Jalil got us a little money. He says, you guys got to carry the bags. I got to do the clothes, whatever it took. And I said, Cliff, let's just rock. Now, this is all a Raising Hell tour. Japan, London, we're around the world. When we went to Japan, we almost had more fans because Japan kids were loving the dance. LL didn't have dancers, Run DMC didn't have dancers, Beastie Boys didn't have dancers, Public Enemy didn't have dancers. You know what I mean? So they were intrigued with the movement that we were doing. And there was this one catch that the issue was, I still wanted to be an MC. So Cliff says, after the tour, I got to get in contact with my man Stretch. And I said, that's fine. Stretch came on when we was doing the Def Jam tour, which was Next, LL, Rakim, Fresh Prince, and you know, all the other guys. I started that leg of the tour. But then the guy that offered me the record deal says, look, you need to finish the record because there's a company in Germany that wants to release it. And at this point, you know, we all kind of sat down and I said, look, guys, to be honest, Stretch is the best dancer ever, without a doubt. So he should really take my place. And I had no beef with that. But at one point, we were all going on stage together. But it just didn't feel right because my attitude had changed more of MC mode. You know what I mean? Like I looked at the guys like, I want the shot on the mic. Jalil and X wasn't going to give me the mic. I was like, shit, I'm never going to get the mic. I got to leave. Because I knew that if I stayed, I would be, oh, that's Lance. He's a dancer. With all due respect, that's not what I wanted, even though it was dope. It was dope. And we had it. But I remember Cliff was like, yo, we getting ready to do Arsenio Hall. We're going to go do Soul Train, Lusky. I did Soul Train, but only coming down the line. And I got to give it up to Cuddy Mac Lusky. Even when I was not on the stage with Whodini, even though I was no longer the dancer, when I got to Soul Train and when I got to the West Coast, Mr. Lusky, the king, the boss, the legend, showed me love with all due respect as if I was the MC. Like he rolled out the carpet. Now, Lusky was also cool with New Edition. So I was cool with Bobby. So Lusky was, I ain't gonna lie, he kept it real. And because of Lusky, the love that Lusky showed, even though Cliff was the Cuddy Mac, that's Lusky's boy. But because he knows that Lance got Cliff in the game and Cliff got Stretch in the game. So the domino effect started with Lance, Catch Me If You Can romance.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because Lance was like the bold one that really had the attitude, but Lusky was the one that could balance it out because he was fly than all of us. To be honest, he was really
Lusky.
The flyest. Like, damn, this is fly on a whole nother level. This is more GQ fly. I'm still Right On magazine fly.
Boom.
You know what I mean? So Lusky was to the epitome, and then the confidence that he had when he had another dance partner. I don't know his name. I'm sorry, Lou. But what I saw with Lou, excuse me? Tom. But what I saw with Lusky is he inspired me. I'm going to tell you why Lusky inspired me. He's a dancer on Soul Train. It didn't matter what star came on Soul Train. You would think every show Lusky was the star.
Wow.
That confidence and that swag just ignited me like, God damn, that swag and confidence is something that don't exist. So again, the West Coast gave me like that, okay, I can do this. That's a dancer, but he has so much demanding personality and respect that was still overwhelming to some, but very humble. So I respect Lou in that essence of taking me under the wing and making me an unofficial Cuddy Mac without having, quote unquote, the level of skills as the other dancers. So I never stated that I was the best. I just stated that I was the first.
The first.
Period.
Yes, and what we say, Lance. I want you to know, Lance. If you could check the yearbook, you could check the DVD, Sons of James Brown. You could check all our interviews. We always included you in the story.
Thank you so much.
Always, Kenny.
I really
it's
feel
documented, Playboy.
Thank you. And I think what I've done to speed the process up, I've now entertained enough. Just so you know, I got blessed to sign a deal in '93 with EMI. When I signed with EMI Music Publishing, I signed to EMI, me, Pharrell, Rodney Jerkins, Dallas Austin, Missy,
Wow.
Timberland as a writer producer. And the reason how I got there is because I went to Clive Davis after I heard Clive Davis was, maneuvering, looking for, talent. I went there and there was a girl named Les Via that said, Clive is not really going to sign you. And he's in the middle of talking with other people. He was talking to L.A. Reid and et cetera, et cetera. Make a long story short, he says, why don't you go down the street to this company called EMI? And this is the winter of 93. Now, prior to getting the EMI, I was in LA shooting a movie called Blunts and Stunts. Blunts and Stunts was a hip hop documentary about me trying to make it. On the set, DJ Pooh is in the movie. I'm going to send you guys the movie. It's unseen. I'm going to, and I have comedians in there from the movie Friday. The comedian
I would love to see that.
I got Chocolate. I got some more in there. I got a ton of comedians. Anyway, make a long story short, I ran out of money and I had to do a deal to get some money to finish the movie. And I signed a publishing deal, not knowing it was going to save me for the rest of my life. I got grandfathered in a deal that gave me 50% of everything I created, even if it never came out. They'll never make another deal like that again. You know why?
Now that's amazing.
Because what happened is, if somebody needed a chart hit, they would put me in the studio. I don't care if you were the Backstreet Boys, Britney Spears, or whatever. They told me right away, you're going to be what's known as what's called a ghostwriter. Because they knew at this point, you don't care about fame. Absolutely not. You care about money.
Yes.
You don't care if you wrote a song for Mariah and she took the credit. Absolutely not. Keep it.
Keep
what
it.
I mean? As long as you pay me. What's the amount I'm getting paid?
That's it.
I get this from 93 to 2018.
Awesome, Lance. That's what's up.
So hold on. Then on top of that, Marty Bandier was going to leave EMI. Oh, Sony had bought EMI and the publishing company. When they Sony bought EMI, they only kept like 5 of us: me, Pharrell, Timberland, Missy, Dallas, and Jermaine Dupri. Now, they had chart hits, but what I was doing was something nobody saw coming. I was completing songs and registering them with BMI, as you can go see yourself, and keeping the rights to them 100%. Because if you're the Backstreet Boys and you put me in the studio and I'm making music and you don't take it and the company forgot to tell me to turn it in, it becomes a Lance Romance song. Do you understand? Because
I understand.
You're too busy. So I made over 726 songs, registered them, went back to Sony and said, hey, I got all these songs. They go, oh, those are ours because you did that on our dime. I'm like, talk to my lawyer. You can't prove I did it on your dime. This is Lance Romance. Catch me if you can. So I got known as the industry hustler, but I did nothing wrong. I was just pimping them before they pimped me. That was just so my game was like, I'm gonna get you before you get me. So by time I had 726 songs, the industry has shifted. Now we're in 2015. So now I realize I don't need a major. Keep this in mind. Prior to 2015, I only had 4 Lance Romance albums. Between 2015 and now, I made 25 more Lance Romance albums because I had so much material. I just put it out on myself. Then I made a lawyer contact Sony. Then I owned all my masters for everything I've ever recorded. So with all due respect to probably Timberland and Pharrell, maybe Teddy and Jermaine, I'm definitely the 5th most productive and lucrative person that has the most registered songs in the history of music, period. That's because I stayed in the studio as a ghost writer. That's the reality. So that's how the concept of owning your masters came into play, because I'm like, I'm not giving these up. And the stupid thing is they were like, we own the masters. And I used to be like, how do you own something you don't have? I got the 2-inch reel. I got the DAT tape. I got the disc. How do you own it if I physically got the content to reproduce it? That means I own it. You understand? So my hustling game comes from the streets. I like to thank the West Coast. But at the end of the day, I got about 30 Lance Romance albums on somebody else's dime.
At the
Period.
end of the day. That's what I'm talking about, Lance.
Lance is no fly. Let me tell y'all, man. You see me and Aphro, like V-LUV like to use the term fly. And fly is not just your style of dress. It's like
Right.
the things that you do.
Right.
Yes.
I see other cats on YouTube, you know, always going back. Yeah, too short in them. You know, slept on my couch or whatever. In the young days when they was like 18, of course you're supposed to sleep on your boy's couch.
Absolutely.
Right? But
Right.
you see Lance just walking like, yeah, I work with Bobby Brown and all that stuff. But people ain't knowing like Bobby and his brother Tommy.
Oh,
was staying
absolutely.
with Lance.
Yeah,
You know
and
what I'm
that's the other
saying?
thing.
He ain't bring up none of that stuff because he's fly. That's
Right.
I didn't need to. And one thing as you can see, if you go to my post, I've been in the game since '84.
Yes.
Go to my web or whatever of the post. I have no celebrities but me on my IG.
Wow. Yep.
Yeah.
And just to make it clear,
You're right.
Cliff will tell you, I was a virgin for many years. You know who de-virginized me? Ask your boy Cliff. Robin Givens.
Wow. Now,
So-
that's a lot of things, Lance.
Yeah, and you know what it comes down to? When Cliff used to say, yo, what do you got in common with Mike Tyson? What do you got in common with Michael Jordan? You know, what do you got in common with Eddie Murphy? They came after you.
Wow.
In the essence of being fly. And look, we're all different fly, but it comes back to my humble beings of West Coast, seeing Lou Ski, seeing DJ Pooh, seeing Uncle Jam's Army, and how Easy E. And again, I didn't know Ice Cube, and I didn't know the level of the nuances of NWA. All I knew was get to Macola Records, which was pressing up their first records, go do the homework, and get a record deal. To me, that's what I would like to thank the West Coast for, is saying, hey, we can do it. Because on the East Coast, we didn't have E1 or Koch Records or TVT. They weren't really dealing with independent acts like that. And to be very clear, I made my 91 album, just to be really putting it out there. 91, I released an album in Atlanta on Ichiban Records.
Wow.
When I released my record on Ichiban Records,
Ichiban, yeah.
look it up. There was two MCs, Kilo and MC Shadi.
Yes.
Listen to what I'm saying.
Yeah.
There was Kilo and MC Shadi. I released my album. Now, this is going to sound really crazy what I'm going to state, but do your homework. Kilo and so who was the third MC living in Atlanta, recorded in Atlanta as a solo artist to release an album in the history of Atlanta? Lance Romance. That sounds crazy that I was the third solo rap artist in the history of music in Atlanta. Proof. There was only two of us. There was Kilo and MC Shadi. I got a deal. Now, there were groups. There was no T.I. There was no this. There was no that. There was no Ludacris. There was no nothing. Lance Romance had an album called Fortune and Fame. Google it. 1991. Prior to me was MC Shadi and Kilo. And realistically, that shit was selling in Magic City and around town. And I respected them and I loved those guys because I was like, yes.
That move, that move.
Was killing it from Magic City to the radio. Now, by the time 91 came, the game has changed. I made a New Jack Swing album. 91 was my last album until 2015. I took 25 years off because I was just ghostwriting.
Okay.
You understand? So, but I never forget hip hop dancing because we're here to talk about hip hop dancing. And I met a ton of people now to finance the hip hop dancing movies. I don't want the little cheesy documentaries. We got a story to tell. And I think even outside of this conversation, everyone, we need to really get it together, because if you really think about it, how many people are capitalizing off of hip hop dancing from the foundation we all have laid down together?
Come
you know
on
what
now.
I mean? And
You better say it, Lance.
we need to come together. And even if we collectively did it in a what's called numerical order of sequence, and we did it where it was movie 1, movie 2, movie 3, movie 4. There was somebody that did a collage poster that I seen one day online. It was like boogie dancers, and I saw all of our pictures in there. Like it was some collage. You could probably Google it. Just Google boogie dancers. And Sub Polo Sport.
Was that you who did that, Ledge?
No, I one day I opened my email and somebody sent me like the boogie dancing. I wouldn't even know.
I think Legend did that.
Who
Is
did
that
it?
yours, lad?
That wasn't me. I seen that. That wasn't me.
Oh.
Yeah.
No, I didn't
Yeah,
send
so-
it. I don't think I sent that.
Yeah, so what I would like to do is
Or did I?
communicate with everyone and really make Hip Hop Dancing Chronicles. And I
Right.
think that if we all came together, and what I realize is that we are all legends. You know what I mean? So I realize that, I know this is going to sound crazy. If we went to a Chris Brown or a Drake or Rick Ross, whoever you want to think of, as a collective, it's hard for people to say no to legends when they know the history. Do you
Boom.
understand?
I feel
It's
you.
different than me saying, I'm Lance Romance, the MC. What's up? I'm not going to give you a call back. Oh, I'm Lance Romance, the legend, and I'm down with, Soul Brothers and Aphro and et cetera, and Cliff Love and Stretch. Oh, you're legends. It's a difference. And I don't think realistically, as a
Right.
unit, as a dancing unit from Khayyam to Aphro to Shane and Salima to Big Les and Carolyn and that group and the IOU dancers and E
Yes.
Boogie
Yes.
and Mike Swift and all of them, we've never got our fair dues for what we put in on that
Boom.
floor.
Boom.
Period.
Boom.
There has
Boom.
to be some form of payment that we can't recoup, but there has to be some form of respecting us to tell our story to get a check. How about that? Do you
Yes,
understand?
indeed.
And I think with my hustle skills and distribution outlets and marketing, advertising and promotion and branding and cross, utilizing our resources,
Mhm.
Aphro knows people I know. Legend and you guys knows people I know. So, brother, we all know 6 degrees apart. From Michael
Yes,
Jackson to
absolutely.
Prince to
Yep.
Big Daddy Kane to Whodini to Russell, we
Yeah.
all know the industry.
Mhm.
Think about it. From Janet Jackson dancers
Mhm.
to Madonna dancers to to Britney Spears dancers, Justin
Right.
Timberlake, Justin Bieber, Chris Brown. We all know someone.
Yeah.
Right.
We just haven't come together
Yeah.
and say, as a unit. When I saw what you guys were doing with this platform, the first thing that brought tears to my eyes is like, wow, we might have a chance to tell our story. So I use, I use 2 deodorants because I'm sweating. I'm so nervous right now because I never got to talk. I never got to explain my life. I stayed humble as the ghostwriter, played my position, and saw the movement of Puffy, Jay-Z,
Right.
Andre
Right.
Harrell. I signed up for that. So it was kind of like, hey, do you want to be an artist and make $1 million in one lump sum, or sign this hush money and make $20 million for life? I was like, God damn.
Boom. There you
No
go.
one's going to know me. That's what you got to do. Do you understand? So imagine knowing, could I have been don't get me wrong. I love special ed. I had deals from Universal, Select Records, Profile, Tommy Boy Records. But I couldn't. When they gave me that deal, I was like, damn, what do I do? I didn't have, and I didn't get married. I did get married, that's a whole nother story, but I didn't have kids. But I wanted to dance. But I was like, what's the chances of me making money forever? You understand?
Right.
And then when I saw the dancers getting, I don't want to use the word used, but wasn't really honored in the right way. All due respect to Debbie and Cindy, I see you. Janet Jackson dancers. She utilized her dancers probably more than anyone in a way. But we as a unit, I'm telling you right now, nobody got flyer game than me when it comes to businessmen in Wall Street and the Whiteys. I'm telling you,
as I said, catch me if you can. I
listen,
concur.
And at the end of the day, keeping it real and doing it all 100% legit, we got to get our fair dues. We have not with all due respect to the Black Lives Matter, I'm not comparing it, but dancers do matter as well.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
You
Yes.
understand? So I
Yes.
believe that off camera, off mic, based on today's pop culture, and we got to take a minute for this Black Lives Matter movement, because this is part of the reason that we should come together and make a Dance Matters movement. Because from the Debbie Allens of the world, from the Alvin Ailey's and the Cuddy Macs,
Right.
How can the Asian market, with all due respect to the Asian women, and I love my Beckys as well, everybody knows me, how I get down, but how you going to capitalize more than the blood, sweat, and tears we went through to get to this level as a unit? And with all due respect, when you guys put this platform together, prior to you guys, what was there for us to tell our story?
Absolutely. Right.
Nothing.
Right.
But at the same time, I am in Jersey City. You know what I'm doing in Jersey City? I'm setting up a TV network with Comcast based on fashion and fitness, a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week fashion channel that I've been working on for 12 years. Now, I'm doing a deal with Comcast, which later leads into DirecTV, which later leads into being in everyone's home. There's no way that I wouldn't email you my paperwork, keeping a buck. I would be crazy not to put a dance 2 or 3 or 4 hours on my network just because.
Right.
And then let's go get our footage and cut real deals of licensing agreements. Let's chop up Aphro, all your footage, and Legend and Soul Brothers, and let's tell our stories on a national level where we're getting advertising income with distribution daily, not just the moment.
Right.
And because of this platform, it's easier for me to do my hustle to say, it's already done. We're just going to put it on a platform to make an income forever, right? That's not a game. This is reality.
Right.
You understand? Dance lives matter. Remember,
Yes.
Lance Romance is saying it here first.
Yes,
That's
sir.
right. That's right.
Dance lives matter.
Dance lives matter.
And
That's
we
right.
all got to stick together, because even if someone says Lance didn't dance good as Stretch, or Stretch was like Cliff and the IOU dancers, and I've been all of them places where Union Square and IOU, and I don't have to go through the list of every rapper I know, just so we get clear. I introduced Greg Nice and Smooth B together in my grandmother's house in the living room.
Wow.
I knew I wasn't good enough for the flow that they had. I made a record when Greg Nice and Smooth B got together. Grab my album, Google it, called Touch of Romance, Brother with Soul. You know who I was putting on my DJs. I had 3 DJs if I would have made it back then. Ask them. Clark Kent was one of my DJs. He called me and Cliff the All-American Boys, way before Biggie Smalls and way before anything else. God bless Biggie, one of the best MCs in the history of music. DJ Pooh, and you know who my other DJ was? Look on the back of the record. At the time, he wasn't really sure of his name. He went by the name of Little Rock. You know who Little Rock was?
Who?
Showbiz, from Showbiz and AG, digging in the crates.
You are lying. Are you serious? That's people's right there.
Go Google the record. Go Google Brother with Soul.
Makes sense.
Flip over the record. See Little Rock. Call Little Rock. Yo, were you Lance Romantic DJ? Yeah, before anyone else. Lance Romantic.
Snap.
So before Fat Joe, before Diggin', Lord Finesse, God bless Big L, and I was doing it. But
Diamond
because
D.
I already understood business from Leor and Russell, I wasn't taking the bullshit contract.
Right.
Wow. I'm like,
Wow.
y'all ain't giving me the bullshit contract when I understand the business of copyrights, trademark, publishing, distribution, points, percentages.
Absolutely.
I'm not signing this bullshit. These are slave contracts, and y'all still trying to give it to us.
Wow.
At the end of the day, people used to say I was complicated. And I'm not complicated. I just understood business.
Wow.
That's not complicated. That's just understanding. But
Right.
I was willing to play my role. Forget all that. It's not about me. It's about us. Listen, it's 58 minutes and 54 seconds. I don't want to get cut off. I just want to say one thing. God bless the dancers. God bless the dancers. I swear, listen to me, guys. If I don't get to do any other interview, I'm telling you now, we got to get together and get what's owed to us by doing new shit.
It's done.
Whitey ain't looking for the old shit because they don't get it. But we can organize some new contracts, do some new movies and new content with Netflix, with Hulu, with Amazon Prime.
Right.
We as a unit have not approached them as a business first. We will do this podcast, what we're doing right now, for another year. No. Let's go to check. Fat Joe went to Puffy. Let's be all real. Ask Puff Daddy, hey, how'd you get your deal? with Comcast. Okay, when'd you get your deal? 14, 15, 16. I got my deal with Comcast in 2010. They wouldn't give Puffy a Revolt deal if it wasn't for me saying, why ain't no niggas got a network? Before Oprah, I busted their balls and got
I
it
know
first.
that. I knew that.
Do you understand? Because
yeah.
I live in the Hamptons with everybody rich. I would go to people's house. Ralph Lauren, Donna Karan, Vera Wang, you know, Tommy Hilfiger, Calvin Klein, you know, the people that the people that own the publishing company like Hearst. You know what I mean? And so basically, the last thing I'm gonna say is I was hitting everybody's daughter, so I'm gonna know what the parents are doing.
Damn.
Lance.
Hey, Lance, it ain't no it's not an ID time limit, so you can relax.
No. What I'm
good.
saying is the bottom line is this. I don't mean to keep saying this for everybody that's watching. We are a brand. If we're talking, we are a brand.
Absolutely.
If we are communicating, we are a brand. If we're posting, we are a brand. If we're still doing anything related to making people understand we're together, we are a brand. The only thing is we don't come together because what I learned from my white people that I love is that they work together and we don't. I'm telling you right now, I have photos. You know that one photo that Cliff sent you of Whodini and us from the photo shoot?
Yeah.
How about I got the whole photo shoot that the world has never seen? So imagine sitting on a photo shoot of Whodini for 35 years because we need to get the money together, and I wasn't going to let Whitey just use it and then sell it and then put it somewhere and forget about it. Do you understand? So I didn't kiss and tell.
Interesting.
You know what I mean? I respected Bloods and Crips and the Latin Kings, and I knew hustlers. I knew Alpo and Jay-Z, and Alpo and Rich Porter and the streets, and I got other friends. But I'm not saying that's me, but I don't kiss and tell. But one thing that I was irritated is we as dancers on a big platform, on a Grammy, on an Emmys, on an Oscars, on a Tonys. Don't your guys use dancers? Isn't that all choreography?
Right.
Every time.
When we do an American Music Awards, when we do all these, don't your guys open up?
It's been going on. It's been going on since the 30s, since the 20s. They've been using dancers for as a part of making things pop. You know what I mean?
Listen, absolutely.
We the eye candy.
Absolutely. So guess what? I heard the other day when LL went to do Rock the Bells, he made a good statement. I ain't talked to Todd in a minute. He said, everybody that's hip hop is going to get a piece of Rock the Bells.
Yes. He did that for sure.
And I appreciate
that. He gave Crazy Legs a piece.
But guess what?
I listen to Rock the Bells every day.
I didn't hear nothing about us.
Just Crazy Legs. That's it.
Yeah.
Don't we got Crazy Legs?
No. But that's been my thing too. That's what I've been saying was when it comes to hip hop dancing, it's they address it as break dancers are the ones that do that. They don't address. I respect that too. But I'm just saying we put in a lot of work. You feel me?
Absolutely.
And I always felt like dancers should have had a what do you call that?
A union.
Yeah. And what's that thing that like with jobs? You know how they do it with the jobs? Like it's like a thing
like a pension.
A union.
A union. That's what I just said. A union. Pension, right. And listen, I know it sounds crazy. Listen, you're on the right.
No,
page.
It's true. It's true.
Listen, it ain't that difficult. We just didn't approach it in that way. It's like getting insurance, right? You pay for it, you get it. We never said to anyone when Chris Brown has dancers and Usher, all of that is because of us.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
Right.
It's kind of like the way SAG.
There is no Usher. With all due respect to Michael Jackson and Prince, we get it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not taking nothing from Sammy Davis and you know and Fred Astaire and Ginger Rod. I'm not taking away. I'm talking the swag that I'm looking on this camera. I'm looking at your hat, your glasses, the matching backward hat with the Ravens, your green, your hat, my hood. This is swag. You can't buy that shit. Do you understand?
Right.
This is the swag that they're living on off of what we decide to wear. Boogie Union, that's right.
Word
we
up.
gotta get something now. Instead of fighting for the word old school or history, great.
No, we need to be fighting for the dancers, like period.
Let's fight for something new.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just to
because they're still doing it. They're still doing it to dancers. Like dancers get a little bit more than what we were getting back in the day. Like we got it. I think the Soul Brothers got it the worst.
Yeah. Listen,
I think y'all got paid better than we did. Like when it
listen,
came
Aphro, Shane, Salima, Big Les. I don't know what Khayyam had a good deal at one point. I don't know what everyone get. That's not my business, and I'm proud. But from this point on, I would like to say, hey, you know what? We're going to unionize, and if you're going to use dancers, and we have a union of choreographers, and we have a union of people for videos, and we have a union of people for shows and events, we need to get something. And from this point on, then I'm going to go ahead and call Reed Hastings. Then I'm going to go ahead and call Jeff at Amazon. Then I'm going to go ahead and call the people and say, will you give us the documentary distribution? You're not going to own this content, but give us the deal so we can go get the corporate sponsors, the Nike, the Coca-Colas, the Pepsis, so we can go tell our stories on a real platform with some real money and make this shit pop. Stop bullshitting. You know what I mean? But if we don't come together as a unit and do it, it's just talk. That's all I'm saying. That's all.
I mean, it was like that. It was like that era of them putting out all those dance movies when we were still popping too.
Absolutely.
And they didn't call not one of the dope dancers to the movies. They were using these off-brand cats that used to sit at the club and watch us dance.
Absolutely.
And they'd be in the movie doing all our steps or doing all this stuff, and we'd be sitting there on the side like, dang, how did they get all that? And we sitting here like, we're not even getting seen for what we were doing. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Except it's just in the hip hop scene. But besides that, you know what I'm saying? That was all we were being seen in. And then even there, they wasn't paying us right.
Absolutely.
So there needs to be some kind of union. There needs to be some kind of thing that speaks for us like SAG did. Like SAG does for actors, Aphro, and all those places.
Right.
Like they speak out for the people who do, if you go to a video or do something, you just don't get $30, $40. You get $200, $500, $1,000. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
to do the video, and you get rights down the line. Like you know what I mean?
I'm talking about. Listen, royalties are the key to living when you're not doing
exactly. And that's what hurt. That's what hurt a lot of musicians and dancers and stuff like that, is that we didn't have royalties. So when you see a video and all this stuff show, we're sitting here like, oh, look, they're showing this 1,000 times. How are you gonna show me on this video and you didn't even get permission from me and pay me every time this shit plays on fucking BET? We should have got paid.
Absolutely.
Every time that shit played on on all these shows, we should have got paid.
Absolutely.
We sitting there trying to figure out how to pay rent and all that shit when we dancing back in the day. You know, but it was for the love of it. Don't get me wrong, I love dancing. So it was for the love of it. But when you started making it your profession and your career, it started to look shady. You feel me?
And look, I appreciate Bobby Brown paying the heart and soul dancers and the other dancers.
He did them good.
But Bobby is one artist. Bobby couldn't take care of the world. And thank God we had a Bobby that changed the game to elevate us. And thank God that Bobby and Tommy and the whole Brown family maneuvered it. But when Bobby didn't continue and the industry shifted into now what we have, today's, we should still getting paid if they're playing an old video. So just to make it clear, what I'm going to fight for is, as the TV industry paid dancers like throwing scraps to the slaves. Somebody just posted that. The industry paid dancers like throwing scraps to the slaves. So what I'm going to be fighting for is this. I got the TV network, which is a fitness and a fashion network. They gave me a $23 million budget against my own music publishing. So they didn't give me the money. They said, against your music publishing, we'll give you the opportunity to perform and earn it. So you want to own your masters. So it's called a performance-based deal. That means we own it, but I get to make up to $23 million and I get to utilize my own income, but I'm on a platform to earn it. Do you understand? So
Yeah.
I'm not like sitting with 23, but I get to earn it within a 12-month period, right? Which is almost 2 million a month. So my goal is this. I said, if I have to license dance music videos, I learned a lot from brother Ralph McDaniels and Video Music Box. But if I play a hip hop video, like let's just use Special Ed, I Got It Made, right? Or Sweet Tea video, or Bobby Brown video. If I'm playing that video on my network, why can't we figure out a distribution income to pay the dancers in the video because they're considered talent? There's no SAG on that video. There's no Aphro on that. So why can't we create the union for the videos we're still watching? Why are we allowed to watch existing videos on a platform without still paying the people?
Absolutely, Lance. You are right.
Yeah, but that's been
that's
a big problem.
Watch Bobby Brown every little step, and Heart and Soul can't get paid because Bobby Brown is not making music no more. So you're saying if you're not hot, you can't get paid, but the content is still playing.
Yeah, and there's still people learning those dance steps.
Right. So we have to sit with the attorneys, and I'm going to put it on my network. I'm telling you right now, the Lance Romance Network starting in Jersey City, and I'm moving with Comcast. I'm going to make it happen because they got to see me. And I'm rolling with the big boys, and the big boys are listening. But I'm on this platform not because I made 30 Lance Romance albums.
Right.
I'm on this platform because you guys created a platform, and I want to help us out as dancers around the world that busted their ass. They don't know that we got dancers that died of COVID, AIDS, cancer, unemployment, shooting, jail, unemployment, and on and on and on because of what? There's no income. So we gotta, dancers are hustlers. Do you understand? That gotta stop. Not to say
it could at least been a medical thing for us. Something. Come on.
Insurance,
we was hurting ourselves we was hurting ourselves all day on the stage. It got to the point where people started wearing knee pads on stage.
Right. And no disrespect. And if the artist don't got the deal, that means that we gotta stop dancing.
Yeah, exactly.
He with all due respect to to Jeff, but whoever stopped dancing or whoever stopped making records, that don't mean that we gotta stop dancing.
Boom.
Yeah.
That's
thank
corny.
you.
Yeah.
That's corny. Straight up. It's corny. If that's what you feel, then that's what you feel.
Right. You lose your record deal, so I gotta stop dancing. So now I'm unemployed. That doesn't work.
Think
anyway,
like that.
We got to get together.
Yes. All right.
We got to come back. We got to even talk about the history of people like Steezo.
Yes.
And we got to sit with Lays. We got to sit with a lot of people and figure something out. I'm not saying I'm the man. I'm just saying I have a voice that Chuck D would have in hip hop. I'm going to be a voice with all of us. I'm not the man. I just know that it hurts me to talk to a platform like you guys created. This is brilliant. Hey, Lance, we're going to email you, click this, come in on this. This is some real professional shit going on right here. I'm not even on my cell phone. I'm on my Apple laptop based on, I'm like, this is great. Listen, Khayyam got stories. There are other stories. And Shane and Salima got stories.
It's a gang. It's a gang of us.
Like there's Carolyn and Big Liz and all of them, Fatima and Buddha Stretch, and I can go on. Everyone has a story.
Awesome stories.
Yep.
But what I would like to say in the essence of this is we got to get paid, not because we are here today, but let's get paid on some things we did, but let's move forward as a unit. Do you understand? Look, the NFL moved as a unit. They're going to kneel or they're not going to kneel. The Major Baseball League moved as a unit. NBA moved as a unit. With all due respect, we are a team. We're a sport. I don't know if they understand that. What we do is special athletics. There got to be a way to unionize dancing like a sport. We are qualified in ways that the average person still looks up to us and says, this is what I want to do. So now you got $1 billion of Asian market dancing like us, imitating us, making tons of money, but we get nothing. We get nothing. That's poor management, poor agent, poor distribution, poor knowledge, but worse than that, it's communication. What you guys are doing right now, I swear, over Facebook, over Instagram, over Twitter, this is the best platform ever for the communication of stories that are real, that exist, and that's true to livelihood of life of Black and brown people of America. Do you understand? That have traveled over the world.
Right.
And I appreciate Cliff Love and Stretch and IOU and all of the dancers, you know, Scoob and Scrap and everyone else. I can't think right now because, you know, I'm heated, but I appreciate everyone, but we definitely got to communicate. I don't know how. Maybe
no, we can figure out how we'll work it out.
You got to say, hey, I'm using this as a stupid thing and I'm going to stop. Hey guys, we raised $1 million. Okay. 250 is for East, West, South. We got to figure out those in need. And I'm going to put my money where my mouth is and I'm going to make it happen, but we got to work together. And I believe
now, Lance, we have the right team now. That's what we've been working on over the years. We have the right people now in place, so we're ready to hit the ground running. We had a team, but there wasn't the right people on the team.
Right.
So we all got the right team now, and we all have our own lane. Like, say, for instance, you give me Tide or Coca-Cola, I could sell it, but I'm not a born hustler. That's your lane. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So we need somebody strong in each lane. You feel me?
Right.
So now that you're here, now we can all stir it up.
You got them resources, Lance. Like you said.
We have to do that. And females got to be protected just like the males, and we got to know that we're a unit. Right?
Absolutely.
And I know that Kid and Play and Shane are doing a movie, and I'm sure we all should have our own documentaries. And this is the one thing that we got to do different. We got to support each other's project and not hate each other's project.
Yes, definitely.
If Shane and Chris from Kid and Play need help making their movie, let us figure out how to get them going. And maybe their story, not our story. I think working together as a unit and being positive, especially during this COVID times, especially when we're in need of, you know, Black Lives Matter and we got to get this clown out the White House or whatever. I think we got to stay strong, but stay focused on the prize, but communicate. I don't want to hang this phone up and be the last time I hear from you guys, because I'm going to be calling you with facts, with numbers, with a check and saying, how can we help our brothers and sisters, and just figure out who's in need first.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like dance agency. Somebody says a dance agency like a sports management, like
yes,
IMG,
Dahlia.
right? Listen, I was just in New York City. I came back to Jersey City really quick. There's still Fashion Week going on. There's a union. IMG basically was a sports management company that Tiger Woods was signed to. These guys know that they can't run fashion anymore because there's no more Victoria's Secret. There's really no strong Fashion Week. Fashion has died. But urban fashion has never died because we always still look fly. The bottom line
we're the ones that buy everything.
We're the ones that buy everything. So let's get together and make this work, and let's just figure out the right way. Let's start with making sure we make a list of attorneys. Let's make a list of attorneys. Let's make a list of agents, managers in Hollywood, in New York, in the South, and we're going to get respect. You know what I mean? Like, we can call a Kevin Lyles, who's still relevant with 300 Entertainment. He might not sign us as rappers, but he might be like, yeah, I'm down with this shit. Y'all guys figured out how to get $18 million. Let me help you with the next step, like a Steve Stout. You know what I mean? There are people that still are relevant in our culture, from a Coach K or whoever you want to say. I'm just saying names that I believe that we have to reach out. And who's to say a Tyler Perry wouldn't give us acres to start dance rehearsals? And you know what I mean? We've never tried. We can't say we don't have if you don't try. It's like being a little kid. Can I have that car for Christmas? No. Well, you don't know if you don't ask.
It's true. It's true.
But speaking of asking, and we're on fashion, I'm working, not even Snow Brother legend. Post coordinator Ali is working on the one of them Tyra Banks model shows, right?
Yes.
So I'm sniffing through, you know, because I'm always looking, you know, to get better myself.
Absolutely.
Bro, I swear, it had your name as one of the original cats that made the blueprint for all those model shows that we see, the top models. Is that true?
Absolutely, because me and my friends,
had your name on there early.
Let me tell you, so what happened really quick. So me and my friend created the Victoria's Secret runway show. I had no money coming into 99 and 2000. I created this Latin album. And I was making this album, which was called Latin Salsa. And then I wind up calling it Salsa and Hip Hop. Make a long story short, I was working in the studio at Sony Studios on 54th Street. I would do noon to midnight. Swiss Beats was just starting Rough Riders with these guys as a full production. So Swiss would work from midnight on. I was dating a model, and I went and took that magazine and said, let me go to Viacom, sell them this concept. They laughed at me. They said, there's no way that people are ever going to buy the rights.
That's where I saw it, Cuddy. Viacom. That's where I saw it.
Viacom says, okay, we'll buy the rights from you. I said, well, there's one thing. I own the rights to the Victoria's Secret runway show, and you can only air it one time. I didn't tell anybody. So when people used to say, why they can't air the Victoria's Secret runway show more than once? Because I own the rights. No one can air the rights to it but me, which is why when I launched the network, you're going to see all the Victoria's Secret runway show, behind the scenes, backstage footage. That's because what I was doing as a ghostwriter, dating models, because nobody knew who I was. Do you understand? But I saw that Bob Johnson got a deal for $2 billion with BET at Viacom. And I said, VH1 is there, MTV. I'm taking my Victoria's Secret runway show there. And this is why a lot of people don't know, how did he survive making royalties? Because I cut a deal that I would get 10% for life of everything, but I own it even when it's done. So now when I drop this network, all that fashion shit from Fashion Week, from Victoria's Secret, I had my hand in it from day one, and I never mentioned it because I didn't need to mention it because that'd make me fly, right? But working together, I want all of us to have a piece of everything. I can't stand today's society as brothers and sisters and those of color or Puerto Rican and brown. And I'm happy that Fat Joe got the big show. I want everybody to have some form of show. But
I'm down for unity.
Let's communicate and let's get paid.
Down.
Let's get paid together, right?
Yeah.
It's cool telling these stories, but let's tell stories with a check. You understand? That's all I'm saying. And we can make it happen. And anyone that really sees me and knows and see me in the street, they're going to know that nigga keeping it real. He might not have told back then, but that Catch Me If You Can was kind of myth, but kind of more because he wasn't taking no bullshit. You understand? And to be really clear, so niggas know, I did go to jail in 2005 and came out in 2007 on some tax evasion shit because I wouldn't tell on the accountants and the people at EMI and Sony who was always taking a penny. Can you imagine running a company and taking a penny off of Michael Jackson for life? If Michael Jackson got a check for 40 million, how many times is he going to say, you sure it ain't 41 million?
Wow.
I didn't say nothing because that is the difference between me and these new cats out here that's running around with their mouth. I'm not doing no talking, no check involved, but I come up with different morals. Oh yeah, a lot of people forget. I'm motherfucking 54 years old. I'm born in 1966. So I got a mentality that is understanding what we've been through from the 60s, the 70s, and etc. I'm here to support whoever is trying to make it, that haven't made it, that we agree are real. If somebody comes out the woodwork and said, I was dancing for Pookie and Shaniqua, and we ain't hear from you, we can't help you. So there will be some validation to our new society, to the dance union we haven't created. There will be validation. That's the key to society and life. Let's validate these numbers. Let's figure out a way to work with Instagram. Let's figure out a way to work with Mark Zuckerberg. And let's figure out a way to make social media. Who's created a dance app? How about the dance app?
Right.
There's things that we could still grow as dancers. There's some business skills that we need to educate each other. Again, I'm not the guy, but I'm the guy that don't give a shit, that's never going to take any shit. And if anyone see me in the street, I'll let you know I'm not taking any shit. But I'm not a gangster. I'm trying to figure out why we can't work together. Do you understand? And my life has not been perfect, but I'm here today on this platform on Sunday, September 13th at 6:35 p.m. saying, let's figure it out. I might not have all the answers, and I made a ton of mistakes, and I made a lot of mistakes because I over hustled and under hustled and over promised and never promised, or whatever the combination may be. But one thing I've never forgot is, don't forget that we sacrificed our lives. With all due respect, we had parents that passed away, family members that passed away. But can you remember the first time we told them that we were going to dance for a living? They looked at us like we were crazy.
Yeah, like I know my mom did. My mom
and
was
I'm
tripping.
I'm sure I heard about, when I talked to Kayam, she's going to come on and tell you, there was some award show that I think Big Les and Fatima or Carolyn or those people were part of. We have to make a format of our own award show, or have to include dancers in these current award shows.
Absolutely.
Period.
Absolutely. I totally agree with that. That's agree.
So, I'm done. I'm just saying, let's come together. I believe we can. Thank you for giving Lance Romance this platform. It wasn't about me and my music. I'm always going to get paid, because just to break it down to you how it works, there are 576 commercials a day on national TV.
Wow.
576. So let's say Lance Romance ain't really getting paid, but let's just say I'm licensing my music to these commercials for just $25 a day. That's it.
That's
$25.
I feel you on that.
$25. Now, $25 times 576 is $14,400. What the fuck can I not do with $14,400 that I can share with my dancer brothers and sisters, that we can all live on together slowly but surely? Only at $25 a day. I didn't say 100. $25 a day. If we chop that up, we could make something happen legally and structurally for the universe of dancers. And that's my case. Lance Romance, I'm motherfucking out. And don't forget, I'm the flyest nigga still in hip hop on the right on level.
Lance, yo, you really, really dropped them jewels for us. I so appreciate you. Yeah. Like, you really dropped them jewels. Stuff that,
man. We've been watching you, man, for the longest, Lance.
I mean,
I was so next proud time, seeing your name on that paperwork when I was working for Tyra. I looked at
that's dope. That is dope, Lance. Congratulations.
I love this shit.
And let me tell you, I don't care what nobody said. There's room when you got people like Kardashians and Kanye that have platforms. If somebody says, Lance, you got a meeting with Kim Kardashian, why wouldn't I take it?
Right.
Because they're a platform. She got 180 million people.
Why would you not?
Why wouldn't I take a meeting with Kim to get something going for us?
Absolutely.
That's the word, us. It has nothing to do with me. I'm not trying to be Kanye. But if you got a way for us to utilize a way to make this dance shit happen and to help people that went to jail that shouldn't have been jailed. I got a Black Lives Matter album that I never even mentioned until now called Lance Romance wearing customized polo Ralph Lauren. It's nothing but about Black Lives Matter. But I didn't come on here really to talk about my music catalog. I came here to talk about Lance has something that he has to say that we all need. Teamwork as dancers.
That's right.
You understand?
That's right. I agree.
We got to be real with each other. We got kids. We got older parents. We got people that need our support. But we got to communicate, guys. We got to communicate. And especially those that we know. That this, without this platform, I don't know how we could have ever told what I'm saying. And we don't know who's watching me on your platform right now.
Right.
But this is a time for us to build, because at least, Lance is willing to go out there with a voice, and he got those white people listening, because Comcast can't give that crazy nigga a deal unless he did something right. And he had something right with Viacom, and he had something right with Sony. He had something right with EMI, and we got to work together. That's it. It's 1:29. I talked for an hour and 30 minutes, and God bless you guys. And I will promise we will make something happen.
Yes, sir.
Man, Lance, that's what's up. For real. The real catch me if you can.
The real catch me, Lance, because remember I hit you the other day, and like I said, I'm so fascinated. Like in my future life or in my secret life, Legend wants to be a grifter. I want to be Will Smith in Focus. I want to hit a jewelry store with fucking schematics and shit. Like I'm fascinated with that shit. Did you meet any of those cats on your journey, Cuddy? That's some of them slick talking motherfuckers from the Midwest and all that shit.
Who you talking about? Characters like who?
Like I said, like grifters, catch me if you can, like hustlers.
Well, I met a lot of characters like that when I was in jail, and I met a lot of hustlers.
Yeah,
like
I'm
that.
asking. Yeah, did you meet a lot of those?
Yeah, I met a lot of those
Western cats.
But the only thing that I can say about meeting a lot of those cats like that from the streets is sometimes the streets cat would have a disconnect of what was current in reality. Right.
Okay.
So sometimes the street cats might still be talking that pimp daddy conversation. That ain't working for these young girls today that are way beyond that pimp daddy conversation.
Right.
Or they might be talking about a hustle that don't work no more. We're not talking about, how to rob and steal. There's ways of, but there was a movement that I saw of white collar crime with young kids with that credit card shit. See, a lot of people don't understand. I never did nothing.
Yeah, that was the Zoe movement, right?
My catch me if you can is because I was running to make things happen, but I never made no fake credit cards, no fake checks. I didn't do I didn't do nothing that was legally that would get me locked up for doing fraud, right? Yeah. But my hustle sounded like fraud because always remember this, when people don't understand you, it will always sound like Charlie Brown bullshit. Like wah, 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 wah. So to their mind, when they don't understand, it's fraud or it's bullshit or smoke and mirrors. So keep that in mind. I'm not the only one. But to your point, what you're saying, I met a lot of people and I've learned a lot. I'm 54. I'm blessed. I don't have any kids. I'm not married. I'm sure during this $23 million movement that I got, I know that things will happen. And, I know that life is weird and you got to, look what's happening, and we just got to wake up. I know that the police brutality is real, and I know that there's COVID is, some people saying it's real, some people say not. Whatever it's not, focused on the way that we can grow. Let's leave this conversation of, look, the world's going to do what they're going to do. Donald Trump's going to do what he's got to do. But if we got to do what we got to do, let them do what they got to do, and let's figure this shit out. And let's go into 2021 with some movement. All right, that's it.
Yes. Lance, real quick though, I have to ask you this because you blew my mind today with a lot of things. If there was anything that you could have told your younger self back in 84, back in 83, 82, what would you say?
I would have probably paid attention more to technology because I probably was the last one to really get a cell phone. I was always the last one to get a pager. I didn't realize that the technology and the movement, and something simple. Outside of technology, listen, my young brothers and sisters, protect your credit.
That's right.
Credit is real. You got to protect your credit because you never know when you need something simple as renting a car, getting an apartment, whatever you got to do. Protect your credit, protect yourself, and just read. Reading is free. You know what I mean? Like, don't look at headlines, kind of read and kind of respect the elderly people. Sometimes they might be a little out of touch, but most of the time they got something that they can say. We lost that one word, respect.
Respect.
We lost one word in society. That one word changed everything. Respect. One word out of society changes what we see life as today, from parents to government to work to education to the Me Too movement to Black Lives Matters movement. If they say, what one word, like you just said, Lance, what would you tell your young self? Never forget respect. Do you understand? Don't forget respect. You gotta respect. I respect the Bloods, the Crips, the Latinos.
Respect is everything.
Respect. You respect people. You respect your movement.
Yeah.
It's not about I don't need to check in. I don't need to just respect. Nobody's I don't walk with no bodyguard, no Secret Service, no, I ain't got nothing to hide. Walk and give people respect. That doesn't mean you got to give people your information, but don't lose respect for your brothers and your sisters and the girl and your kids. And, don't get me wrong. People are going to do whatever, but keep some morals of respect. That's the way Lance Romance got to end it. Respect. Put some respect on that
That's how we're gonna do
Word
it.
up. Word up. Put some respect on his name.
Yeah,
I feel you, Lance. I feel
And Lance,
you. I feel
Lance,
you.
your name is close to my name. My name is Vance. Yours is Lance.
That's why we got to make some money, man. Stop playing.
Well, we normally end with these crazy 7 questions, but we don't even need them with you. We knew
Let's
we
get
didn't
the
need
7
them.
No, we
questions
sure
real quick.
don't.
Nah, you gave it all. Like what?
Okay.
But what
This
you
is
can
dope.
do, what you can do though, is give us a little treat about the Apple Badu in the Young Texas days before she became Erica Badu.
Erica Badu was known as MC Apples.
Uh-huh.
And what a lot of people don't know about MC Apples had a brother in a group called Nemesis.
Okay.
And I was friends with her brother in Nemesis. And Erica could spit non-stop. She could rap non-stop.
Yeah, she still does.
She was an MC. So when people see Erica bugging out based on the concept of hip hop lifestyle, she was actually from hip hop. And I had went away to London and came back, and then she was singing. But the reality is, I would say if Erica was an MC in the concept of an MC, then she would be up there like with the Queen Latifahs and MC Lights if that was her focus.
Wow.
Do you understand? And I respect Erica Badu. And so coming from Dallas, you know, you had Erica Badu, you had Kurt Franklin, you had Vanilla Ice, and you had Dennis Rodman and Lance Romance. What a mix.
You said what a
mix.
What a mix.
But
anyway, guys,
can't forget the Ghetto Boys.
And the Ghetto Boys.
And the Ghetto Boys, yes.
We were in Dallas. The Ghetto Boy, you can't forget. Hey.
Oh, they're Houston. I'm to Texas.
Yeah, so absolutely. At the end of the day, look, you can't forget Rap A Lot Records, and you know who runs Rap A Lot, right?
Yes, sir.
Who runs Rap A Lot?
Jay Prince.
Jay Prince.
So Jay Prince already know. Again, somebody I respected early on when nobody saw rap coming that way from the South. Keep in mind, let's just stick together and respect the dancers. Yeah. Let's communicate. Let's change emails and numbers, and let's just say, hey, what's the first step to take care of? How do we collect what we've done? Number one. And how do we move forward collecting on other platforms? I don't know when this COVID's going to end, but I just walked past Madison Square Garden yesterday, and they already got concerts coming in town that has Justin Bieber, Maroon 5, right? So what that's telling me, there will be some movement. We just have to figure out what we can do from this point on to make money as dancers, get money from production. Maybe every dancer that used to dance don't feel like dancing, but maybe you could write, maybe you could produce, maybe your story is enough. Yep. There's enough money to be made in multiple facets that Hollywood can't make the shit up that we know.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Hollywood can't make up the shit that we've been through and that we know. That's it. Let's get some real hip hop dance stories going, and let's reach out to people like Herb Gotti that might got platforms. I'm not mad at people like Damon Dash. Look, anyone with a voice that can make something pop, that ain't scared to talk to Whitey, let's go.
Let's go.
Lance Romance, happy to be here. I'm out.
We truly
Lance, this is dope. This is dope, Lance. This is definitely a pleasure. Hey, he's out. So we have to give the people his information for IG so that they can go ahead and check in on him and follow him and check his movement, because he definitely dropped some jewels for all of us on here. And for people who don't really have anything to do with dance, they're just interested in the culture, interested in hip hop, period. Like, I mean, Lance really dropped some stuff today that I didn't even know.
I think you want to come back. Did you want to come back?
Yes, Lance.
Hey, I'm back.
I was just saying. Yes, for real. I was about to say, man, he gave us an exit and everything.
Information.
Yeah, so they can find me at Lance Romance Hip Hop Music on IG. Lance Romance Hip Hop Music. My email is lanceromancemusic@yahoo.
Okay.
Lance Romance Music at Yahoo. And my number is 1-800 Catch Me If You Can. Now, I'm not crazy. It's Mike Jones. I ain't going to give you my number. But
I was about to say, you doing it. You must got that business line for real, for real.
Yeah,
so
but listen.
While we're about to end the show, Lance, you might as well just ride it out with us. We only got 2 minutes left.
Good. So I want to say, Aphro, I saw you still getting it in with you and your family. Don't stop. Let's figure out how to make what you keep going. and Legend and Soul Brothers.
Yes.
Let's figure out a way to do a nice reunion. Let's figure out a way to reach out. Let's have our own reunion. Let's
do it. Let's
figure out how to get together and just have a dancers fiesto. You know what I mean?
Let's do it. Come to Atlanta. Right here.
Let's
come to Atlanta.
Hey, how about we do it? One on the west, one in the south, and one in the east.
Let's do that. I'm down with that too. I'm down with that.
It's about we, not me. Can you see? Capital LANCE. Yo, G.
Woo. Hey, Lance, since you kicking it so cold, tell the people a little bit about the beautiful city of Cayenne we got coming up next week.
That's right.
Cayenne?
We got Cayenne coming next week.
Listen, I got stories, but Cayenne got some other stories. But Cayenne could dance her ass off, number one. Number two, she's the first flyest girl I've ever seen that stayed fly every year from day one. Number three, there was a cat in Harlem. His name, it was Dodd and Lance. There was a few cats that this girl was so good that I know niggas that was fighting for this girl's attention all day, every day.
Wow. Now I'm giving a wow.
And her confidence level was so high that she never let her vision until she decided to stop her vision. But I believe she still got a vision. Thank God she's into fashion and beauty, and I feel we're going to work together.
And she's killing it.
But Cayenne has great stories, great history, and to be clear, she is one of the first, like me, to do it. And let her tell you about her electric boogie days and her popping and breaking days.
Oh yeah, she don't play.
She's younger than me.
Lance, she's still
the youngest.
Yeah.
On the boogie wave.
Yeah. Yo, she still does, Lance.
Much love to the boogie dancers worldwide. Let's just go get that check. Much love to you guys. Thanks to Lance.
Much love, Lance. Thank you so much.
I'm grateful and I'm humble. And I'm sorry if I overtalk to anybody.
Nah.
That was it.
No, this is dope. This was dope.
Every question I had. He covered every question I had on this page.
Everything.
I haven't said nothing.
That's
everything.
Much love to everybody. Much love to Cliff.
Much love. For real.
Next week with the great Cayenne. I know you guys enjoyed this. It was definitely a hip hop dance story classic.
It really was. This one was dope, Lance. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing all of your jewels. For real.
Aphro, V-LUV, Lance. I love y'all.
I love you too.
Much love, fellas.
Listen, how do I find this?
YouTube.com, Cuddy Mac TV.
Cuddy Mac TV is gonna be posted.
Cuddy Mac TV, shawty.
And peace out to Cuddy Mac Lewski, New Edition,
Word
Bobby
up.
Brown, BBD, and all the boys out there.
Big shout out. Yes.
Cliff told me to tell you. Cliff told me to tell you what's up too, Lance.
Okay.
I was with V-LUV last night. West Coast, baby.
Lit Radio.
That's right. Lit Radio.
Lit Radio. Thank you. I'm out.
That's dope. All right, Lance. Thank you.